prophecy and the visions, dreams. Remember, I will pour out my spirit. Your daughters and sons will have visions and dreams and prophesy. Because it's coming to pass. It's unfolding. And here's what I was thinking of on the way home. I was thinking, like, Father, because remember it says a worldly person doesn't understand spiritual marriage. So I'm thinking to myself, they don't. They believe that they're truly worshiping the Lord. They believe, like I say, they believe something's wrong with the righteous people. Because remember, their mind has been overtaken, conformed to the ways of the world. And the Lord says a worldly person doesn't understand spiritual matters, the carnal mind. So I'm thinking, wow, I was driving home and I'm thinking, they don't really know. They don't really know. They don't understand. He says they have eyes they cannot see. They have ears they cannot hear. And he tells you some of the greatest kings and prophets would love to know the things you know and see the things you see. So they haven't been touched by the Lord, because if you don't seek him with all your heart and with all your mind, you're not searching for him. You're not seeking for him. I've lived a celibate, holy life for a long time. And when you're dealing with a carnal mind, this is where you're mourning in sackcloth when the spirit of Elijah or spirit of truth comes upon you. You're mourning in sackcloth because you know you've been touched by something so supernatural and divine, and it's changed everything, the way you think, the way and you could see how the demonic networks or the satanic kingdom operates. Remember, the world lies under the power of evil, and people become demonically influenced just by conforming. Be ye not conformed to the world. Your ways aren't my ways. Satan's target is your mind. How do you think he targets your mind? Through many ways. Through thoughts, through trauma, through pain, through rebellion, through sin, through religion. Because the Lord showed me there was a spirit of religion in this world, and it's not from him. You're not born with a religion. You learn that in this world. So what I wanted to read was, I'll tell you what I'm reading. I'm reading about in Psalms. It says, evildoers will be destroyed. See, everybody thinks God is love. He is love. He loves his creation. But he don't love people that fall away to their evil desires and become a toxin to themselves, to their relationships, to the future, and the land that we walk on. If everybody's going in the wrong direction, doing the wrong thing, where are we all going to sustain life at? That's where I'm at with all this. Like, if everybody's going into destruction and so much conflict and chaos is in this fallen world, the children of today's time and age will not be, they won't have no paternal guidance at all. So it says here, why boastest thyself with a mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of God endureth continually. The tongue devises mischief. Like they say, your tongue is native of your father, the devil. When you're slandering, belittling, gossiping, using profanity, talking perverse, that's not something you do when you're in, your youth. You learn all this stuff in a fallen world. You're falling away to your evil desires. That's what that means. Because at a certain age, you know right from wrong, a truth from a lie. Like I say, someone who wants to marry someone or have a longevity of life with them is not going to want to be with someone who's rebellious. We call this the Jezebel spirit as a spiritual person. She'll rip down the four walls of her own home. Argumentative, combative, perverse, profanity. Nobody wants to be under a roof with someone like that and think that they could sustain a longevity of relationship or have a healthy one at that. It says their tongue is like a sharp razor, working deceitfully. They loveth evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Salah. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. God shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away, and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living. Because remember, it says your own wickedness turns you into hell or perdition. You're falling away to the evil things that you do, or that succumbed or overtaken you, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying all are doing it intentionally. Profanity is bad. Of course it's bad, someone put on. But the Lord didn't, you're destroying it like the untamable evil, the tongue. Life and death is in the power. You can hurt someone's feelings with your tongue. You can give them failure to thrive if you're always saying, oh, you're no good, or I hate you, or look at you. If you're putting someone down all the time, what do you think it does? I call it emotional mental witchcraft as a spiritual person. But what do you think you're doing to somebody when you're degrading them, putting them down, oppressing them spiritually? You make them feel less than a human being. No one should be talked down to. Not anybody in this world. The righteous and all shall so see and fear and shall laugh at him. Lo, this is a man that made not God his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches and strengthened himself in his wickedness. The faithful will be rewarded, but I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. I remember when I cried out to the Lord with all my heart, with all my mind, and I started having visions and dreams, and he saved me when I couldn't save myself. He removed the stony heart. That comes through healing. Because people with a hardened heart wax cold to themselves. They betray themselves. So when your heart gets, softened, healed, it renews your mind, so you start thinking, operating in compassion for the lives of other people. This was the Church of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia. Now we can love our brethren. We love people. We want people to be okay, but we don't love their sin or abominations. We don't love the things we know are a toxin to themselves. If you truly love somebody, love warns, love protects, love salvages one's life. Love is honest, love is truthful, love is protective. Not here, let me put your hand on this hot plate and whoops, you burned it, don't do that again. No, you protect someone before they burn their hand. You protect someone from harm's way. Love warns, just like a loving father, your creator, would do. He chastises and rebukes his children. So he would, just like a loving father, he would say, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. Don't act that way. Don't. That's why what an intricate design you are. When you live outside his will, things happen to you. You go into conflict or chaos and disorder in your own life. Rebellion is the sin of witchcraft. Who are you hurting in your rebellious nature? Yourself at the end of the day, because you're going to push good people out of your life. If you're acting inappropriately and talking inappropriately, someone with a sound mind or a healthy mind or has love in their heart is going to move away from you. You're pushing all the good away. It says if two can't agree, they can't walk together. But really, like I said, the irony of the whole situation is you're destructive to your own well-being, to your own relationships, to your own life. Because like a Judas, a betrayal. Remember, Judas had an ugly heart. That's where Satan dwells, a hardened heart, or where you have envy, jealousy, like they follow the ways of Cain, destroyed themselves. The Lord told Cain, he had envious and jealousy. The Lord said, you know what, your mind's not right. You have the corruptible mind. I'm not going to he was worried about someone doing to him what he was doing to other people. He hid his sin. If a sin goes covered, it can't be, if you don't feel sorry for something wrong you're doing, how would you ever correct yourself? Wait, you don't feel no empathy or nothing I just hurt this person. No, he wasn't worried about him hurting somebody. He was worried about someone hurting him for hurting somebody. The Lord said, you know what, your mind's not right. I'm giving you a mark. It was a mark of death. He said, you know what, I'm not going to let a righteous person go down for your evil ways. You're evil in the mind. You're going to remove yourself. Your mind is not operating right. You're wicked in your own ways. You're envious. You're jealous. You have hatred and malice toward you. To a murder spirit come on, you hurt somebody because of your mind. Your mind's not operating. This is what they talk about, the reprobate mind or debased thinking. And so at the end of the day, but who are you really hurting? It says a wicked person's arrows pierce their own heart. You reap what you sow. If you're walking around in your own wickedness or just putting despair, remember, an evil person's only happy causing division in someone's life. If you're causing strife or division in someone's life or don't respect their peace or their boundaries, who are you going to sit amongst? You're going to push everybody. The only people that will accept you would be like a Jezebel and Ahab. They'll yoke together because they have demonically influenced behaviors. They can only withstand each other's rebellious narrative. Because nobody in Christ is going to withstand that pressure that they put out. No one likes to be talked down to or, slandered, belittled, hear profanity, talk perverse, gossiping, backbiting. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that all day long and live in constant he said, she said, they did. You know what she did? Nobody wants to hear that. That's like the tongue of the crafty. You're crafting them, you're crafting you, you're crafting yourself. Because anybody with a healthy mind, like I tell people all the time, you know right from wrong. You know if you're wounding another person's soul. A healthy person don't go around destroying other people's peace. Only someone in rebellion does that. Healthy people don't destroy people's lives. Rebellious people do this. So I'm just saying, You know, there has to come a time and day or in this age where love covers a multitude of sins. You have to be a loving person, but you don't love someone's unrighteousness. You don't love their toxin or destructive behaviors. It can become a despair for you. That's why he says you can't drink the cup of devils and drink the cup of the Lord. Come out from among them, be ye separate. Some, like rebellious people or people that are conformed to the world, have that worldly mind, they'll sit there and try to put sicknesses, label you as sick because they don't understand your separation or your walk or your righteousness will affect their unrighteousness. You're not doing anything wrong. I'm not hurting anybody. But like in Ezekiel, it says, I was made dumb and I couldn't speak. Because when you start living for the Lord, you know when to guard your mouth. You don't feed into certain conversations. You don't feed into certain environments. Sometimes you're just made dumb and you can't speak because you know you can't add fuel to their fire. What could you say to someone who doesn't want to hear it? It says, many will not hear. They will go dumb, deaf. It will fall on deaf ears. Many won't endure the sound doctrine. But to their own defect, to their own defection of truth. Because the truth is the truth. It don't change just because people don't believe it. Prophecy is unfolding. You can't stop that because you don't believe it. It's just going to determine where you're spending eternity. We are facing the end of days. It's not God's will for anybody to perish, but most people are doing it by their own hands. You can't mock or mirror or stipulate someone's life or try to mold them, manipulate their life, or try to paint an identity onto them. If someone loves you, they're going to let you be who you are and point out your strengths and your qualities and your greatness. That's someone who loves you. They're going to walk with you through the fires, tell you how beautiful you are, tell you how great you are. Hey, and point out all your strengths, not your insecurities and vulnerabilities, and play on them. That's not from Christ. Someone who loves you speaks life to you.